On today's episode, we're going to be going through our predictions for the top 10 F1 racers of the year.
USF1 Nation, we are back again. Cookie.
Nicky.
Boogie.
Boogie came from outside back of the camera, showing that beautiful face here. Today we are going to do the top 10 drivers, our prediction, the 2025 season, where they're going to rank. We were close but not close in 11 through 20.
Yeah.
I'm curious because there was a couple of guys that you had outside of the top 10. I don't know where they're going to fall.
We'll see.
Piling in here.
I got very disrespected on my picks for the bottom half, so let's just see where the top half
speaking
goes.
of disrespected,
Oh boy.
you had at 11,
Yes.
Carlos Sainz.
Correct.
And I wanted to know who you thought was going to be above him, and you think Liam Lawson
That was our
is
spoiler.
actually going to knock him out of the top 10. So you think a rookie driver is going to come in a difficult-to-drive car and kick out a two-time Grand Prix champion winner from last year and take him out of the top 10.
I do, just because I think Liam Lawson's...
He's in a Red Bull.
I know he's a rookie, but he's in a Red Bull car and he's going against a Williams car. That means something. I know Sainz was a stud, but he was with Ferrari. You put him in Williams, you give Lawson a Red Bull, and I'm not putting them that far apart. One position. Nicky put Sainz at 13.
That was super
I
disrespectful.
put him at 11. I debated on him or Lawson at 10, 11, and I wanted to give Lawson the credit that I think he deserves to be in that, barely in that top 10.
I think you gave him too much by putting him in 7th, Boogie. So that's
Which ironically, look at that.
an opinion.
I went 10, 11 with Lawson and Sainz, and you guys, you put Sainz at 7, and you put Lawson at 7.
Yep.
So there's a lot of
So you're
tension
going
here.
straight on car, not on driver skill.
I
What you're
think-
saying?
I think
you
Lawson-
think that Red Bull is so good
I
that
could
he's
get in a
going
Red Bull.
to drag Lawson all the way up to 7.
That rookie, Lawson, is going to win a race this year in that car. So,
We disagree on everything, but we
Yeah.
agree on one thing.
what, Pierre Gasly?
Pierre Gasly is going to be a 9.
So we had Hulkenberg at 16, all three of us.
All
now
three of us.
all three of us have Pierre Gasly at 9, which is weird. I don't know how that randomly lines up like that, but
Because Alpine is a very middle-of-the-road car, and Gasly is a very decent driver. And I think if any of these, outliers, somebody's going to get a win this year, I think it's going to be Pierre.
so
I
you
think
could see
Pierre gets
him
a win.
getting a
He
win.
did
he's gonna get a win.
great last year. I don't see him getting a win, but I see him getting a podium.
Definitely, he's going to get a podium. Definitely a podium. Maybe even more than one podium. But I'm going to say he's a dark horse for an actual win this year. I think he wins a GP.
Okay.
Let's talk about another thing here. I had Ollie Behrman at what, 19th?
Yeah, you had him win.
And you have him in the top 10.
Yes.
Now, Boogie did not. So Boogie and I had him, say, in the bottom 10. I just put him way
Why?
down.
Because he's racing for Haas, and Haas has no money.
Not one
And
of
he's
you
a
has
rookie. And he's a
Haas
rookie.
in the top 10. I'm the only one.
Yes.
You're the only one.
Yes.
I cannot wait to see where you put the constructors.
So, and then Boogie, you're the only one with Yuki in the top 10. Nick and I both had Baby Bull Yuki Tsunoda in the bottom.
So he's clearly the better driver of the Baby Bulls.
Not if you ask Cookie.
Clearly the better
Get
driver
into
of the
that in
Baby
a
Bulls.
second. Give it a second.
And he did not do bad last year. I think that I don't think he's going to, win any races, but I think he's going to consistently score in that 10, 9 place. I think he's going to get points all year, and he's just going to grind out a top 10 finish.
I think he's going to average finish his race in 12th place. So that's why I put him so far
He's not
down.
even getting points in 12th place.
I know. That's why. That's why
He's
he's
just
not
down
even
on
in
poor
there.
Yuki. Poor Yuki. Wow.
That's why you don't see him on my board.
Okay, let's dig into the next one. So Nick and I ironically have Antonelli, Mercedes, beautiful, 8th.
8th.
You don't have him in the top 10.
I had him in 11th because
had-
Antonelli, I think, is going to be the best of the rookie drivers, but he's still a rookie driver, and until you prove it,
Okay.
I'm not giving you in the top 10.
So ironically, we both have him at 8. You have him out of the top 10. And
Yes.
in 8, you have what, Alonso there?
I have Alonso because he's an experienced driver.
And we have
This is
Alonso
his-
out of the top 10.
Yes.
This is his last year. This
Okay.
is his swan song. I think that they're going to put their money and their resources.
Well, no.
Alonso is the number one driver now.
Alonso has one more year next year. Next year is his farewell tour. So
I thought this year was his
no.
farewell.
Next year is his farewell tour. So
Well, I stand by my 8th either way.
So we already touched on Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
Nicky loves him. I said top 10, borderline. You have at 7. Sainz, you've already been bitching about us. It looks like I disrespected Piastri the most. Not crazy. Well, Nick has him at 6. Boogie has him at 4. I put him at 7th.
7th.
That's pretty low for as well as Piastri. He's in the same car.
Yeah.
He raced well last year. Can I understand why I disrespected him? No, I don't. But you got to have a couple wild cards.
let me say
That
this.
math is not mathing.
No?
I want to say this too. Now, there is a very, very good chance that I think I put Norris in 2nd. And Piastri, where did I put him? In 7th?
You have him in 6th.
6th.
I had him in 7th.
There is a good chance, pending Papaya rules and how they react to their 2 number 1 drivers, that could be, now I put Norris ahead, that could be flopped.
You think if Piastri's doing well enough early on, he'll start getting the
Yes, he'll start getting
Norris, let Piastri have it, let him
Yep.
pass.
And he has been doing, he's been getting better every single year. So I think that potentially he could do better than that. I just can't see him passing up. I just can't
don't
see
think
him
so.
passing Russell. So we'll see. There's a potential of this.
I can see that, and that tracks because even and when we talked earlier about Drive to Survive, there was one comment that we'll get into next week's episode that they asked Christian Horner if you could have either of the McLaren drivers, which one you take.
You'd pick
Hands
Piastri.
down, instantly, he said he would take Oscar
Yeah.
because he thinks Oscar has a higher ceiling. So I can see that, but I think that Papaya rules this year is going to be who's ever leading in the points
Okay.
is going to become their number 1 driver because I don't think they're going to make the same mistake that they did last year. But
Okay.
so I could see them picking that. But I think Norris isn't going to leave the door open as much as
Yeah.
he did last year. I think he's going to fight with his elbows out more, and he's going to be in front.
He's got to get fighting hands.
If it's close, like you say, whoever's leading in points, yes, if we're 10 races in and Piastri's up by 20 points, he's the new dude.
Absolutely.
But if we're race 1 and Piastri wins by a little, we're race 3 and Piastri's up 2 points, I think they're treating Norris as 1A.
Yeah.
And Piastri's 1B. I think that Piastri's going to have to be up significantly to get that. So that's why, I mean, look at where we all have Norris. We'll get into that in a little bit, but we all have him in the top 2. So I find that unlikely.
Yeah.
So I will agree, and I'll put my little asterisk next to Piastri that Piastri and Norris could easily flip.
Okay.
But I stand firm by where I think they're going to rate. But I'm okay with flipping those
Well,
drivers based on the.
you have them 2 and 4, so they're close
Yeah.
enough. With me having them 1 and 7,
Yeah, I don't
that's
know what
huge.
I don't know what you were thinking.
Well,
That's
because
nuts.
let's get into it. If I had to put Piastri down at 7, it's because I had to bump him for someone else at 6, and that is Isaac Hajar. Now let me explain this.
Please explain.
Let me explain this.
Explain
It is time for the Baby Bulls to finish in the top 5 of the Constructors' Cup. We'll get into that in the next episode. Aston Martin is taking a shit. Baby Bulls are coming up. I don't think Yuki has the galls to do it, and someone had to step in, and Hajar is going to be that rookie wonder who does enough to get him up into 6th place, which brings the Baby Bulls into the top 5 of the Constructors.
So, okay.
What do you have to say?
So you're saying
That
Lawson,
math does not math.
Antonelli,
Yes.
Isaac Hajar, out of all of those rookies
Yes.
that you have, Isaac Hajar is your number 1?
Yep.
I love it.
He couldn't be a driver on Red Bull, and he couldn't make the driver on Mercedes, but he's going to take Baby Bulls, and he's going to crush those other ones. It's optimistic.
I love it.
love the optimism.
I feel like a little bit
You're
ago,
wrong.
Boogie, you said that the car isn't all that matters. It's not like the car is going to drag the driver across the finish line. Sometimes the driver has to be great.
Yeah.
Have you been watching Hajar?
Yeah,
I have.
not.
I've been watching him a lot. Okay.
Okay, I want to talk. Okay, so you both put Hamilton in 5th.
Yes.
Yes, because it's Hamilton, and I think that he's good, he's great, he's amazing. He's on Ferrari, and Ferrari always finds a way to muck things up
Not this
because
year.
it's Ferrari. No,
Not
Ferrari's
this year.
gonna muck it up.
Telling
They
you,
always do.
you just got a burning heart in Hamilton. And he was getting, it just got old in
Yes.
Mercedes. And now he gets to go to Ferrari. It's going to be
Who's going to be their number 1 driver?
a rebirth.
Who's going to be their number 1 driver?
Well, as you can see, if you see my pick, Leclerc.
So you think Leclerc's their number 1 driver?
Yeah.
So you think that they're going to
So do
prioritize. You think they're going to prioritize Leclerc, and you think Hamilton's still going to end up that high? You have him at third. You think they're going to be that dominant that they're going to have 1 and 3
Absolutely.
by prioritizing one driver? I think there's going to be so much drama with Ferrari this year because you have their golden boy in Leclerc, and then you have the 7-time world champion Hamilton. There's going to be so much butting heads, and they're racing for there's going to be no team rules there. It's going to be a disaster.
I understand that, but I can respect you saying with Hamilton, it got stale. With
Yeah.
Mercedes, it got stale. He was just sending it in. He wasn't excited. He is so pumped. Yeah. All the interviews, all the pictures, everything you see, he's beautiful in red. He's ready to go. I would not be surprised to see him third. But like you said, to finish 1-3, that would be huge.
If he was the number one driver there, maybe.
Two best cars last year. Okay, and it's carrying on to this year because not many changes have happened. Was McLaren and Ferrari.
Yes.
And Hamilton is, I'm sorry, I love Carlos Sainz, a better racer than Carlos Sainz is.
And that's why I put him higher.
There's a reason he's there with Ferrari this year.
And you have to, what did Hamilton win? I can't even remember last year. I think he won 2 races, maybe 1. I don't know. But
Carlos Sainz won 2 races last year.
Yeah, on Ferrari. And Hamilton's a better racer, so he's going to win.
Enough about
races?
Hamilton. We've been talking about Hamilton. I know he's the golden boy. We've been talking about him for 2 minutes.
The golden horse.
Well, okay, he's the golden boy and the golden horse, but he's now not number 1 on his team anymore. He was number 1 in Mercedes. He's not number 1 at Ferrari.
But he's on a better team.
About Max Verstappen.
Okay.
Such disrespect from you. I can't believe that. Number 4.
Boogie thinks he's going to win his...
To be the man, you got to beat the man. And that man has not slowed down one bit. He took that POS Red Bull last year and he drugged that car across the finish line. And he won his driver championship in Vegas. We were there.
Yep.
We saw it. He didn't even need the last 2 races. I'm calling it right now. Max wins
5
by Vegas next year. We're going to be there to see him win again.
We are going again, by the way.
I will say, like I picked, he finishes below Hamilton finishes in 4th.
Now I'm looking. I remember debating when I was doing this. Verstappen, you can't argue with Verstappen winning. I just thought, as great as he started the first half of last season, there was just signs where he's fading, but then he kind of came on strong at the end. So I understand both sides of it. I just think
not going to be
Lando has been getting better
year.
and better and better. And you guys both have him at 2 overall. I just think this is Lando's year. I think he's going to do it. And then my deciding was, is Leclerc going to do better than Verstappen? And I got hopes in Ferrari. I think there's so much hype there.
Yeah.
So you're going on. So your ratings are more on the car. You think that the car is going to carry
car/driver.
Yeah, I'm still.
See, I'm picking who I think the best driver is. I think the best driver gets it done. I think Verstappen is the best driver, hands down, out of all of them. I would not be sad to see Norris, be world champion this year. I think that would be great. But until you can consistently beat Max, I don't see anybody who consistently beats Max.
So I think last year was a little bit more of an anomaly because you had Max Verstappen basically coming off of the 2023 season, which was dominant, bringing it into the beginning of the season, and then stuff changed. Now I don't think that's how this starts at all, where we have to catch Max.
What changed? Let's be honest. What changed halfway through the year?
A lot.
McLaren had their pseudo DRS winglet not working properly, and Ferrari had the same thing. And so we'll see at the first race if they get penalized if they haven't fixed their wing. So when you're running around the track as Ferrari and McLaren with your wing half open and you're getting extra DSR, if you're getting extra doctors, then you're going to be faster.
Gonna throw it out there.
Still won.
Max Verstappen has already commented and said, "There's one team to beat. We're not going to win this first race. There's one team to beat, and that team is in orange." So right now, you got even Max knowing that his car is not the best. He's going to have to drive the shit out of it like he does, but he's not going to win. And I'm going to go to my pick. We got Norris. We got Verstappen, and I picked Charles Leclerc with his doggy because he's cute.
He is. Yeah.
Okay, I love his dog. I like Charles. I would not be upset to see that happen. But you're saying that Ferrari is going to be just astronomically, better than everybody else to have
1 and 3.
They're literally going to have 2 1 drivers and be able to finish. So you're talking they're going to be splitting podiums. They're going to be on the podium 1-2 lockout all season, basically, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this. Let's not dig. I
don't want to argue.
I like that 1-3 argument that's going to be tough to happen. But let's just look at our pick overall. Let's pretend all we did was pick who was going to win the championship this year.
Yeah.
How cool is it that we have 3 different drivers from 3 different teams?
Yes.
That would not have been the case last year.
Yeah, last year we would all said Red Bull, Max Verstappen.
Yes.
Now we got McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull represented. And you could have made the argument that it could have been 2 different guys on Ferrari. It could have been Leclerc or Hamilton. Obviously, for my sake, it couldn't be Piastri because I barely put him in the top 10. Because Isaac Hadjar is going to be on the
Hadjar
map.
is doing it. One last question before we go. I want to just ask, how many different race winners do you think there will be this year?
Ooh.
I'm going to go high.
7.
I like it. So 7 was last year.
I think that's low.
7 was last year.
Yeah.
I don't think that's that high. I think it's
No,
going to be...
I think 7's a great prediction. I'm going to say 8, which is 1 more from last year. So
I'm going to say 12.
No,
12 race winners?
12 different,
12 different race
winners?
winners this year, yep.
When Hadjar wins like 4 of them, that doesn't leave a lot of room for the other
You
guys.
laughed at me when I said that Liam Lawson was going to win a race.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's one of those 12.
What do you think Kimi Antonelli is?
Yeah.
12
Okay,
different.
maybe 12 wasn't big.
12. No, that's it. It's in. Hold
Okay,
on.
locked it in 12. I'll make it 12.
Drivers,
Make it 12.
7, 8, 12.
Yes.
Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari. It's exciting. There's a
Well,
lot.
where are we going to end up with constructors then?
Well,
I
we're
want to
gonna-
know what you guys picked for constructors.
You're going to have
Well,
to join
it-
us next time.
I was going to say, if you followed the math on where we had the
No,
individual
his math isn't math at all.
My
math is
With
not
his
right.
math, you have Baby Bulls who's going to be a top 5 constructor next year.
I did look at it. I made sure mathematically it had to make sense, but
I was a couple points off, but there's a couple shifts, but we'll see you join us.
Well, with 12 different race winners next year.
love ya.
Follow us on YouTube at the United States of F1, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at United States F1. Copyright Brugman Media Limited 2025.